Hello there, this is Smith Welding and Restoration. I am your host, Adam Kniffin. Stick around, see what's in the garage this week. Alright, so I kind of shot a shop tour and toolbox tour. There's gonna be a bunch of shit I edited out of it because I rambled for a while. Here's a new mantra for me as of late. Attitude grants latitude. You have the right attitude, you can go anywhere, do anything. You're unstoppable. That's what I mean. That's what that means. It took me a while to get even half-assed comfortable behind the camera. And I'm still not comfortable in front of the camera. We all have our stories, we all have our past, we all have our hardships, we all have our ups and downs. So I'm not remotely different from anybody else out there. A lot of my videos, a lot of my sharing, a lot of my rants. Here's the basic moral of the story. I try to produce original and useful content for folks. I enjoy watching YouTube. I enjoy being involved with the Garage Gang. I've made some people that at this point in my life I consider very good friends. And that's tough for me because I don't, for many years I had like a friend. It wasn't an issue, it just is the fact. I don't make or take friends lightly. How's that? I got my ups and downs. There's no anybody that's been watching long enough has seen them. And here's something interesting I see. It seems like the biggest negative Nancy's out there in life. They're going to complain about what you're doing is wrong, how they would have done it different, better, wiser, faster. But they never seem to have an answer to a better solution or evidence of their capacity or capabilities. I've got a very small business. I wish I could say I was running the red line. To be honest, it's been so long since I've seen that red line but seeing the red line would be a relief. It's not a complaint, it's a fact. I brought it on myself because of what I chose to do and how I chose to go about it. There's intervening factors in the situation of just the economy sucks. Everybody knows this. And there's just not jobs out there. I mean, there's jobs out there. I should take that back, especially now. In the last year or so, it's really cleared up around here. There's jobs here. I could go work full time for a shop if I so deemed it. Work on late model cars and all that shit. And I got my days. Here's something really to remember about the self-employed and small business that I take very, very seriously and very much to heart. Jeremy's my right-hand man. He's the backbone of a lot of what goes on around here and what gets done. He and I together produce 4 times what I can alone in fewer hours. I had Leif helping, Shade helping. You know, guys never really got to meet Shade. He's a good guy. Leif's a great guy. He's out there, but he's a great guy. He just kind of up and flaked one day. I've had several people working with me here in the shop. Here's a simple, sad truth. I wound up working 15-hour days, making less. You gotta find that right hand. You really need to find that right hand. I mean, I guess you don't need to, but gosh, it lifts so much burden off your shoulders. But back to the point is, I brought Jeremy on, and I didn't promise anything. I said, work's spotty right now. We'll do what we can. You help me push stuff out, and cash flow improves, money will improve, hours will improve. Well, hours will improve, then money will improve. And both has happened for him. For me to an extent as well, so that's all good. But I took on a commitment to he and his family, he and his daughter, that I will provide work, I will provide the guidance and controlled environment to make a livable income. We get all wrapped up in ourselves, and all we think about is me, I. And, you know, sometimes I gotta step back and realize some of the commitments that I made and what they really mean to me. I didn't lay an oath or give a promise or any bullshit like that, but he comes in, he works for money in good faith, then I'm going to hold it together. I'm not going to lose it. I'm not going to fall into a bottle. I'm not, you know, do anything crazy like that. So I don't, and I won't. I'm going to keep pressing this little shop forward and get somewhere with it. It's midnight now. The guy's coming to pick up the bike tomorrow. I hit a wall. I'm done. If I can hand anything to everybody out there, it's really simple. Yeah. I had a couple little stories or colloquial, whatever the hell you want to call it. A little thing, a little perspective finders, alright? I check my attitude at the door. A person's become a real true friend to me, Kenny, Street Rider 100. Check his channel out if you haven't seen it. A lot of vlogs. He goes to a lot of car shows out there in Cali, SoCal. And just a super all-around cool guy. I really dig him. I think most of the garage gang's checked in at this point. Go check him out. The guy definitely deserves a view and a couple nods. He doesn't currently have any car projects going on, but he's part of the car scene, you know. It's in his blood. But when we first started chatting, he's like, man, don't take offense, but you cuss a lot. And I got to looking at the videos I've shot. I've gotten to looking at my attitude in general in the shop. And I've begun, in the last few months, to check my attitude at the door. My production's improved, my attitude's improved, the basic quality of my existence is improved. You know, I was getting caught up in this, I'm a fucking victim. And I'm not. You know, you got victims and victors. Pick one. That's what you're going to be. There's no such thing as both, or, you know, sometimes this, sometimes that. You got to choose that line. And this is the one thing that checked me here recently. I got an old schoolmate, and we fell out of contact after, you know, I was not a social butterfly. There was like 3 people I would talk to in school, in high school. So it's been a minute. You know, we're coming up 18 years now. And we got back in contact, chat on Facebook here and there, whatever. But I get contacted the other day, hey, I am in a bind. I got my little Blazer, it's laid down, fuel pump. Place up here where I live, they wanted $650 to change the fuel pump in a truck that has $80 in parts. I don't know about you all. All day it says it's a 5-hour job with a lift. I kick that fucker's ass in 2.5, okay? So, that being said, don't worry about it. Let me see what I can find out. So I looked everything up and got a hold of a mechanic that I use, a mobile mechanic that I use. Got a hold of him, and, you know, started getting things coordinated. I was so wrapped up in my little, you know, it's like, if you can bring it down here, I can do it for, you know, less than half. I can do that for less than half if you can get it down to me. And she's like 40 miles away. Well, it's laid down. After you pay a tow truck for 40 miles, it's really not worth it. All I'm thinking about is me. I can get a quick little job in and out. I can help someone out, cool, okay, but I got a job. And just thinking in those selfish of terms, and it's very self-destructive. Anyhow, I dropped the ball. I was supposed to give my mechanic the phone number and this, that, the other. Well, I followed it up. I get a text this morning, my mechanic reminded me. So I looked, it's there, not sent. So I sent it. Moral of the story, he's heading up to a little town north of here, Huxley, to fix his truck tomorrow for her. I dropped the ball yesterday. Didn't get him the number till today. And you know what? I don't get a goddamn thing out of that. Except, thank you. And it was in a text. And I stopped and I really thought about that for a second. I'm like, am I really that fucking wrapped up? And thinking just selfishly, really. And I was getting that way again, you know, and it waxes and wanes. Especially when money's tight, you start thinking selfish. Well, now my mechanic has a job to do, and a friend of mine is bailed out of a bad situation for less than half what she'd have to charge that local mechanic. I feel good. I mean, I really feel good about it. I pretty much have coasted the last 3 hours I've worked on that. That's kind of what pepped me up again, you know. I helped somebody in an altruistic fashion. It didn't start off that way. It wound up that way, and it worked out well. No mystery, I read a lot, various subject matters, okay? So I read this one. I really like this little blurb. In life, by and large, is like this. A wiser man than me once put down in words in a book. And that what you need the most, give up freely. It'll come back in spades. Followed up with a quaint little tale it reminds him of a man in the dead of winter, standing in front of a potbelly stove with an armful of firewood, screaming at it, "Give me heat!" I'll give you wood. Well, you gotta have the wood before you get heat, right? Go out and do something completely altruistic. What's more important is when you find yourself angry with everybody, with the world, when you feel yourself falling into the clutches of feeling like the victim. Go out and do it then. I'm not saying give your last buck away, but it's not always a bad start to that plan. Every faith has some tale outlining that kind of generosity. Just go out and do something altruistic. Go out and do something for someone that can do nothing for you. Yeah. Let's do a little social experiment, folks. Go out and do something completely selfless that gains you zero for somebody that is absolutely powerless to help you in any way, shape, or form. Attitude grants latitude. And I found myself falling into that self-pity, selfishness. We can't do that. We can't do it to each other. We can't do it to ourselves. We're all interconnected. All of us. Any luck, I'll get some shots of the garden going in this weekend. I'm going to set up a stump for an offering plate to the land spirits, or whatever you want to call them, land whites, land vader. In the middle of the garden, I'm going to plant my garden around it. Hokey, silly, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to set out offerings to Freyr and Freya and the land whites and plant my garden. That's my plan for the weekend, folks. Till then.